Hi everyone. I hope this video finds everybody doing fabulous. Whew. I tell you, once again, this is Throwback Thursday, a experimental, I guess you would say, series that I'm trying out, and so far so good. So let's get started because we're definitely going to try to keep it under 15 minutes for real this time. Okay. Now let's go back and discuss why I decided to do a Throwback Thursday. And the goal with this series is basically to let anyone who is suffering the loss of a loved one, anyone that's going through any type of bereavement, to let you know you get through it. It may not seem like it within that moment, but I'm here to tell you, you will. With intention, patience, forgiveness, and time, you get through it. All right? Now, for my 11 years, just a real quick catch up, I journal. And this is one of my journals here. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of did like we did last Thursday. I'm just going to randomly just kind of like fan through and just let my fingers grab something. Oh, I did. So we're going to get into it. And we're just going to basically, I'm going to read through it. And I'll leave names and everything like that blank. And talk about the emotion, how I was feeling at that time. And address this day through the lens of who I am now, looking back. Okay? This is basically my higher self talking to my, I guess, younger self in some instances, doing this grief process. Because believe me, when I was going through it, there were plenty of moments that it was just so heavy. I didn't think it was going to get any better. I literally had accepted the fact that God, the universe, was punishing me. Yeah. And I no longer, that was not true. That was just my emotions mixed with my anger and my confusion. Because all of those mixed into one created this thick fog that was so heavy I couldn't see beyond what I was feeling and going through. All right. So let's go back in time. So I landed on December 26, 2011. Ugh. That would have been, we just celebrated the first Christmas without my husband. All right. How many pages is this? Oh, wow. It's just one page. Okay. Good. It says, Lord, did I fail somewhere? I have no motivation. The only thing that keeps me going is my trust and love in God. I know I can do this because He is with me. I need to be patient and obedient to His word and promptings. Things has changed a lot. My daughter has been disobedient. She wears makeup even though I ask her or tell her not to. She has even slammed me on Facebook. I remember this for everyone to read. I never would have thought she would do something like this. I take that back. I actually sensed this before Chris died. I'm tired of writing. Lord, keep me and my family. I don't even know what to pray for anymore. Lord, I'm a fighter and I do not want to give up. Please fix me. I love you. Okay. So this particular day, I was going through the emotions, and also our eldest daughter was. At the time that my husband passed away, she was a freshman in high school. And we had already had the discussion with our daughter about when, she could wear makeup. And she had not gotten to that point yet. So real quick, so basically this was more about how children react during bereavement. Okay. And how an adult or a parent or whoever's the guardian of this of the child responds, because I remember this. So let's address it. And this was, like I said, the first year Christmas we had spent without my husband, their father. So not only was I grieving, right? And at that point, it had not even been a year. We were coming up on a year. And it was difficult for me to verbalize how I was feeling. So my daughter at that time, it was difficult for her to verbalize how she was feeling. And she was in a bereavement group during this time for youth. So her way of expression, her anger, she would direct it at me. It was like I could do no right. I'm serious. And a lot of times during that time, I would just let it just pass over me, because I was like, oh, she's grieving. She doesn't act like this on a regular basis. That's what I would say. And she didn't. It was totally out of character for her. So she started wearing makeup. Didn't care if I saw it or not, And then I remember I had had enough. And I approached her and I said, now look, you've already crossed the line, And if I continue to allow you to do that, your younger siblings will do the same thing. And then this household would just be in disarray. And I cannot allow that. And I will not. So thank goodness I was in a space where I could address the behavior, the disobedience, and also manage her grief. Okay? Because that's very important. Because let me tell you something, I didn't always get it right. And sometimes she could push my buttons during this time. And I remember I was just like, look, I'm hurting like you. So don't talk to me that way. Never in her life ever disrespect me. Ever. And right now today, honors graduate from college, doing extremely well. Just got her bought a first townhouse, brand new car. She's doing good. She's a brilliant child. All of my children are. But during this time, that first year, we were all scattered emotionally, mentally, and was looking for some way to express our anger. And if it was nobody else there, then guess what? I was the punching bag. Not so much physically. Nobody ever placed their hands on anybody. When I take it back to my two daughters, they got into it, and I just sat there and watched them because I knew that was coming. They would nitpick with each other. Never did this before, but they were looking for a way to express, not so I want to say anger, but their heartache because they missed their dad. But at the same time, I had this duty as a parent to, to manage their grief, acknowledge what they're feeling, but also be a parent to say, no, this type of behavior is not acceptable and it will not happen again. And make sure I apply the necessary consequences to those actions. And as a parent, oh my God, y'all, it was so daunting. I remember my oldest son at the time was 4, and he went through a stage where he was just misbehaving in daycare, in school. And I was like, even his teacher was like, basically, I remember his teacher saying, he's been misbehaving, doing little things here and there. And she was just like, he's never been this way before. So we know his situation, but just kind of talk to him. So I did. And it did nothing for him. And I had to apply some consequences. And I mean, to the whatever They were very mild. But nonetheless, there were consequences. And I remember I felt so bad because as a parent, I can't have them disrespecting a household because, like I said, it will wreak havoc. There will be no peace in our household. But at the same time, I didn't want to add to their pain or to their confusion. I didn't. But I knew as a parent, I had to do something. So many a nights, during this time, I would have to like build up the strength to be a parent. Not just any parent, but a parent with, I guess, a sense of structure, if anything, lack of better words, and apply necessary consequences in uncomfortable conditions. But I had to do it. So there were many a nights after I had to tell my oldest daughter, we're not doing this, took all the makeup, and she did not get any money allowances. And I went and told family and friends, do not give her any because I didn't want her buying any. And I think also she couldn't use the computer because when I took away her makeup and told the family not to give her, any cash or anything like that for about a month. Oh, she went on Facebook and said, my mother just da 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 da. So guess what? She had, I want to say I took away her, her laptop access to social media. At least, I don't know what she did when she was in school, but when she was around me and family members, she didn't have access to it. And thank goodness that I had family and friends, a village that supported my decisions. Okay. And I cried. I would go to my room after, applying these consequences and I would just cry. Things such as doubt. Am I doing too much? Should I just allow them to misbehave? Because they're only doing it because they cannot verbalize, how they're feeling. Or I was doubting, well, maybe I was too harsh, or maybe I wasn't hard enough. I'm going to lose the little bit of peace that I do have, all these doubts, all these questions that I had about myself and the actions that I was taking as a parent. And like I said, they're all doing well. The one with the makeup that was to see my eldest daughter, like I said, she's doing extremely well. My youngest daughter, she's in her junior year of college, computer science major, and got scholarships. Anyway. So, and my sons are growing. They're doing extremely well. So in hindsight, I would go back to 12/26/2011. And in this particular entry, I wrote, I don't even know what to pray for anymore. I was exhausted. So I would tell this younger me on this day that you're going to get through it. Keep leaning on your village. And if you don't have a village, because my village wasn't always available to me when I needed them, know that where you are and know that you are a good person. Okay? And always ask yourself if this is going to cause any harm. And if you can't trust yourself to administer consequences, then you call upon somebody else that you trust. Tell them the situation. And then trust whatever they decide. Okay? So I'm trying to keep it on a 15 minutes. But at the same time, I want to make sure that I address all the emotions that pertains to each entry and how to get through it. Yes, your children, they're going to add through our children dependents, And the worst thing you can do is butt heads with them. So I know a lot of people say you got to be fair. At this point in my life, I don't believe in being fair. Because fair basically says to me, I'm good to you as long as you're good to me. And when you're not good to me, I'm no longer good to you. That's fair, right? I give you what you give me. But I'm asking you, when it comes to your children, your loved one, grant them grace like God grants us grace. So when we're not so good, God say, I understand what you're going through. But at the same time, I'm not going to let you disrespect me. And I'm not going to let you disrespect yourself. So there are limits to it, and I forgive you. This is God, talking. And you're going to get through this. All right? So make sure that you set down some clear boundaries, and you constantly look at them yourself. Go over them with your children during this time, okay? Because things have changed. Things will. When my husband passed away, all the rules and regulations that we had, but the foundation was there. The value structure that we had in place was still there. But I had to tweak the rules because it was just me, right? So I needed my oldest daughter to basically grow up a couple of steps, you know. So, it's just that don't set anything in stone, all right? Just know that trust yourself. And whenever you, as a parent, guardian, who is grieving the loss of a loved one and have a dependent children, lean on others, all right? Because like I said, I was like all over the place. When I say all over the place, I mean I was doubting myself because I no longer had my partner, my husband, my friend, my mate to bounce ideas off of. I no longer had my husband to say, no, that is not that serious. Because, I was like, yes, it is. My husband was like, no, it's not. Right? So I no longer had that balance anymore that I was so used to and fond of. Okay? But I'm here to tell you, you get through it. Remember, if anything you get from this one here, I know I'm going over. Anything that you get from this entry, one, set clear and defined boundaries for your children, your dependents, and for yourself. And if once you develop a list, with all things, pray over, meditate, however you feed yourself spiritually, okay? And go to someone that you trust. If you're feeling kind of unsure about this list, and discuss it with them, all right? Teamwork, and sit down, like I said, with your family and friends. Post those rules and regulations throughout the house. I had a whole list in my kitchen. And attached to those rules and regulations, if it's violation, this is the consequence. All right? So there would be no confusion. All right? Because remember now, I was already foggy brain. All right? And then it also allows the children to rethink their actions as well. And sometimes I feel like they used to just do stuff just to make me react. So, but anyway, maybe I'll do an episode with children that hopefully I can get my girls to see if they would like to come on and talk. But if not, it's just going to be you and I. We're going to get through this. I guarantee you. All right. I'm keeping it short. I'm 4 minutes over. But remember, you get through it. This was December 26, 2011. Today is, October 6, 2022. So I got through it. I didn't just get through it. I'm a new creation at the same time. Because you don't get through this and remain the same. All right? Remember, you get through it. And if any time, at any place, you feel like your journey, your grief journey is too heavy, remember, take care of yourself. Go get help, professional help. Um, I've linked tons of free resources, so check them out. A link where you can put in your zip code and you can find free resources um, local to you. And if things just really just get out of hand, you pick up that phone and dial 911, and they will direct you to the right place. Okay. But lean on your family and friends. Your family and friends are your resources, those that you love. You understand me? And remember, I use the analogy: do not run out of gas and you got a pocket full of money. All right? Gas is you. Don't run out of energy. All right? And the money is your resource, which is your family. They're right there. They're there. Just use it. Just use them. All right? Exercise your right as a friend or a family member, okay? And if that's not available, like I said, you deserve all access to healing and wholeness that's out there. And it is, I guarantee you. All right. I'm going to have to do better. All right. See you guys later. Bye.